Will Greece leave the Eurozone? That is the question reverberating across Europe after the Greek people voted no in a referendum on the terms of a bailout from Greece's international creditors. In today's press review here on Ukraine Today, we're going to take a look at what the critics are saying in the international media about what the future holds for Greece and Europe as a whole. We start with Robert Preston, the BBC's economics editor. He says the fate of Greece lies firmly where it always did, in the lap of the German Chancellor Angela Merkel and her fellow heads of government. Preston says even if Greece leaves or is forced out of the Eurozone, that is not going to cut Europe's losses, and it's still going to cost a lot of money for other members of the Eurozone. Or to put it another way, staying in the euro would be horrendously expensive for Greece and the Eurozone, and exiting the euro would be horrendously expensive for Greece and the Eurozone. So either way, Europe is looking at a big bill for the Greek debt crisis. Now, moving across the Atlantic for a view from the New York Times, we look at Neil Irwin, who warns that if European leaders tolerate the Greek government's demands, they will be setting a bad example for every other country that may wish to challenge the strictures of the European Union, telling voters in Portugal and Spain and Italy that if they make enough fuss and elect extremist parties, they too will get a much sweeter deal. Irwin lays out the situation in Europe with a clear-cut statement. He says Greek voters faced their crucial moment of decision, and they were clear they are willing to risk the euro to avoid more austerity. Now it is Ms. Merkel and the other leaders of Europe who face a ticking clock and a decision that will ripple through history. So an historic moment in the life of the European Union is upon us if Irwin is to be believed. Now, whereas he gives an overview of the options available to European leaders, in The Guardian, John Quicken unequivocally says that European institutions must back down and write off much of Greece's debt. He says that this is the safe option because every other possible scenario is worse. He says even if the least bad case is regarded as slightly better than a backdown, any reasonable calculation of expected payoffs for the institutions concerned would indicate that backing down is the rational choice in every possible case. But Quicken says that people are not always rational, and if the EU backs down, that might be seen as a failure. Quite possibly, failure will be seen as career-ending for key individuals, notably IMF chief Christine Lagarde, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and perhaps European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker. So what next in the Greek drama? The analysts appear to agree that German Chancellor Angela Merkel will be pivotal. But like other top figures in the EU, she'll need to balance out her own personal gains with those of the 28-nation bloc as a whole. This appears to be an historic crossroads for the European project, one which could decide if it will continue to exist in its current form going forward. That's all we have time for in today's press review. Do join us again tomorrow. In Kiev, this is Ukraine Today.